As much as it looks like it's not justifiable, if you also look at, the fact that I think because government is also preaching alternative energy, they are also looking at how this can be done. And going by, I think this also went in the news days, I think months ago, where the federal government had also instituted plans to ensure that universities were also on alternative source of energy. So it's not like they'll be off the power grid entirely, but it will be, what's it called, an alternative, so that once electricity is in there, and I think this will also put the discos and the gencos on their toes, on their toes, because if you're not supplying, then that means you cannot generate money in that area. So you also need to start looking at providing alternative sources of power, aside using gas and water. Because as Genco and Disco, you also can generate electricity from other sources.
Definitely. And
you can also begin to supply Nigerians, and I think that will even give you more money. Because that one will be more stable than powering electricity through those other means that we know. The problem with us is that we are just one-way traffic. One thing that we know how to do is once we are comfortable doing that thing, then that means that we cannot begin to look at other sources. But I like the fact that this generation, you will be forced to look at other sources that can actually, work for you. So let's see how this will work out at the end of the day. Let's take the second story. The second story this morning is FCCPC to Meta, threatening to leave Nigeria doesn't absolve you of liability. The Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, has reacted to a threat by Meta Platforms Incorporated, owners of WhatsApp, to exit Nigeria, describing it as a calculated strategy to sway away public opinion and pressure the Commission into receding its earlier stance. In a statement issued over the weekend by FCCPC spokesman Ondaje Ijagu, the Commission emphasized that quitting the Nigerian market does not exempt Meta from responsibility or legal consequences arising from its actions. The statement followed the recent affirmation of the Commission's final order by the Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal, which mandates Meta to comply with Nigerian laws. According to FCCPC, Meta Platforms and WhatsApp were investigated for violating the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act and the Nigerian Data Protection Regulation. The Commission found that the Meta parties engaged in multiple and repeated violations of the FCCPA 2018 and the NDPR. These included denying Nigerians the right to control their personal data, unauthorized transfer and sharing of Nigerian user data, discriminatory treatment against Nigerian users compared to those in other countries, and abuse of market dominance through the imposition of unfair private policy. The statement read. I'll leave it there. So again, the question there is the fact that you're an international company, does that mean that you should not follow laws of every country? You're not bigger than the country.
You're not.
So if you follow the rules and regulations of other places where you also do your business, why should Nigeria be different?
And this particular company, they had paid fines in some other climes, and now the FCCPC is asking you to pay a fine because you violated certain regulations and rules. And then
they are threatening to leave.
Data of Nigerians are being exposed unnecessarily. And, there are rules and regulations.
It's a breach.
Exactly.
It's a breach. There's a law.
If you want to pull out, you can pull out.
Go on. There are other people waiting.
And the kind of population that you get in Nigeria.
You can't get it elsewhere.
You can't get it. In fact,
it's just, sometimes
in the report, it says, interestingly, Meta was fined $1.5 billion in Texas and recently ordered to pay $1.3 billion for violating EU data privacy.
And they pay.
And they pay.
They did not complain.
Countries like India, South Korea, France, and Australia.
They
faced sanctions too, but never resulted to blackmailing or threatening to exit.
It's Nigeria.
So why is it so in Nigeria?
It's Nigeria.
They no rate us.
Well, they have met their Waterloo. So at least there's a body that is also standing tall and saying, you know what, if you want to go, go, but you will pay your fines. Joy, let's take
So if they go now, won't have...
There are options, Joy.
Okay.
There are options. There are options to Instagram, to Facebook, to WhatsApp.
Okay. All right, over here in Lagos, Lagos Council poll, 38 disqualified, 5 unopposed. And the rider says ex-Lagos Attorney General heads appeal committee. No fewer than 38 chairmanship aspirants on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Lagos State have been disqualified from participating at the local government primaries. The shadow polls, which would produce candidates for next month's council election, are scheduled for Saturday across the 57 councils. The Babatunde Ogala-led electoral committee cleared 432 of the 470 aspirants for the primaries at the weekend. Among those cleared, 4 incumbent chairmen were unopposed. They are Sulaiman Yusuf of Surulere Council, Jubri Yisa of Iba Local Council Development Area, Motorayo Alugba of Ijede LCDA, and Kasali Bamidele of Lekki LCDA. In Notawori LCDA, Aziz Karim was the only person cleared to contest. It was learned that 38 aspirants were disqualified from the race due to lack of permanent voters card, missing APC membership cards, and falsified secondary school certificates. Recognizing the rights of the aspirants to appeal their disqualifications, the party has set up the Screening Appeal Committee, headed by the former Lagos State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Adeniji Kazim, to look into their complaints. The 5-man panel begins its 2 sitting today at the party secretariat on Acme Road, Ogba. Other members of the committee are former state lawmaker Abdul Wahab Jimo, Secretary, and Sumi Odesoya, Pioneer Chairman of Itirekate LCDA, Kayode Husseini, and Olawale Saliu, who is a lawyer. That's the story. 38 has been disqualified.
The story is self-explanatory, and I'm sure that, of course, we still have a long way to go in that. But then I'm sure they will speed things up as well, so as to give time for the cleared candidates eventually to, do their campaign and then get ready for the election. Well, let's quickly go onto the X platform this morning and take a look at one of the many trending stories on the platform. Well, this particular one has been trending since on Friday, where the news broke that the very dark man himself, VDM, had been arrested by EFCC officials. Now there's conflict in what exactly happened. Some are saying that, well, he went to fight in the bank and he was picked. Others are saying that this could have also been a fallout of his defamation issue with Mercy Chinwo. So there's so many issues, but the back and forth is that
there are a lot of
very dark man.
a lot of issues.
Why is he always in the midst of controversies? Even though some are saying that, he's an advocate of the masses.
Is he really an advocate of the masses?
Or an
I think
activist?
he loves to trend. And
For
of
whatever
course,
reasons.
he gets more followers by creating conflict, controversies, and a lot of bashing for GTB on X since Friday, and some people, I cannot confirm it, have threatened to close their accounts.
Because of VDM. Close your account, they play.
Are we playing here?
They play. Okay, well, whatever it is, I'm sure that by the end of today is Monday, it's a work day, we'll probably hear more whether or not VDM will be left off the hook, or, whatever the case is, we will know.
His lawyer had to cut short his trip to Gambia or something.
Even Deji Adeyanju himself, that's another.
What a combination.
That's a combo, I tell you. All right, that's it on our hashtag for today. You can go onto the X platform to take a further read on why VDM is trending. We'll take a quick break. When we return, the conversation continues. A warm welcome back onto the program. Is still the conversation here on Lagos Television, and our first set of guests this morning will be taking us through one of a critical agency here in Lagos, saddled with the responsibility of administering first aid when accidents do occur in Lagos. And funny enough, I didn't even know that that agency is 15 years. And of course, they'll be taking us through what that agency is all about, and also the need for Lagos residents and also those outside who have contact with them to know what to do and what exactly they stand for. And this morning, joining the conversation is the MD and CEO of the Lagos State Accident and Emergency Service. I hope I'm getting this correctly. I will bring the name in a Lagos State Accident and Emergency Center, right?
Yes,
okay, that's it. And we have Dr. Adeolu Arogun, that is the MD and CEO. Thank you for being on the program this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Also, and we also have the Chief Hospital Administrator, Mrs. Oluwatomisin Ariyo. Thank you for being here on the program today. All right, let's begin this conversation and let's get into it, as it were. Of course, this you are situated on the express,
yes,
just right there by the old toll gate, and of course that's where you are. So tell us, 15 years of offering service to Lagos residents. Okay, because of where you are, it's not just Lagos resident, really. Exactly. For anybody who gets involved in any accident along the express road majorly. So tell us, what exactly are the kind of services that you offer?
Okay, so thank you very much once again for having me. We live in a high energy city, Lagos. People are about their businesses, doing all kinds of things. We know that from time to time accidents happen. And accidents have been the cause of loss of a large number of lives, young and old, male and female. So government's idea was that government couldn't just sit by and watch people lose their lives, lose limbs, and lose the capacity to earn and improve or add to the economy. And then 15 years ago, government created this facility designed to provide 100% free care to victims of injuries that happen either along the highway or if people get shot or there's collapsed building like the one that we recently had in Lagos State. Right. So the idea is that people don't wake up in the morning and say, well, I'm going to Victoria Island, I'm going to hold ₦1 million just in case I get into an accident on 3rd Mainland Bridge. People don't do that. People get into accidents, sometimes they lose consciousness. They're not even able to call family or friends. And then they should be able to get free care somewhere until they're able to see the specialists that they may need or even access the insurance care that they may have access to. Okay. And so that's the idea of creating our center. And what our center basically does is to provide emergency trauma care. Trauma care. Yeah. Right.
Okay, so let me come to you, Ms. Zari, as the administrator. I'm sure that you work with a lot of data, you work with a lot of issues that happen. If you were to share some of your success stories with us, what would probably be the biggest that you can hands-on just tell us now?
Okay, we once had a patient who was his daughter's wedding day, and he had gotten down from his vehicle. I don't know, maybe while he got out of the car, another car hit him, and he lost consciousness. So nobody knew where he was, nobody knew anything, and even he lost his memory. So he was with us for a while, and by the time he came back, it took him a while to remember what had happened. Right. And when he did, he remembered that was his daughter's wedding day.
And he had missed the wedding anyway.
Yeah, you understand. So people like that are, it takes a while before they are reunited with their family.
With their families. So, Dr. Arogunade, you mentioned earlier trauma, and that's big. And if would follow what Ms. Ariyo also said, is the fact that sometimes some of these patients do not even have contact to their family members. And so if you take a look at how your center has also helped with integration, how has that worked well?
Oh, it's worked well, and I should also say that your enterprise has also been of support to us enormously. Like the situation she mentioned, the gentleman lost consciousness, was with us for about 2 months before he regained consciousness. And then after he regained consciousness, he didn't know who he was. He didn't know where he was.
Wow.
And family had probably given up on him, having missed him for about 2 months. They had found his empty car somewhere. And there was no trace to where he was. And then after that, I think for that particular case, or some other one similar to that, we come to LTV to help us announce,
Right.
has anybody found, does anybody know this person? And somewhere along the line, after 2 months, his family showed up. And then we became clear that the man was involved in an accident on his daughter's wedding day, which was the day he disappeared. So our success stories and the kind of things we work has been in partnership with the public,
Right.
like facilities like yourself, and we hope to continue to be able to enjoy that service. We work very closely with people like LASAMBOS,
Okay.
the Lagos State Ambulance Service System, who are able to bring patients that they are called during distresses, and they are able to respond and bring patients to us. We also work closely with people like LASMA,
Right.
the LASMA team. They also sometimes are first responders at accident scenes, and they're able to mobilize and bring patients to us. We work with the Federal Road Safety Corps.
Right.
They are also often first responders at accident scenes, and even the NURTW and the general populace at large.
Okay. So 15 years of community service, I dare say, to Lagos residents and those within the community. So how are you celebrating 15 years?
Also, one of the things we want to do, use this opportunity of the 15 years to do, is to raise awareness.
Okay.
Raise awareness, first of all, that, the care of the accident victim, particularly those that, become unconscious or unaware of themselves. Like I mentioned earlier on, nobody plans for accidents, but without doubt they happen. And our experience shows us that they happen. So we want to raise the awareness of the entire populace of Lagos State that be cautious.
Okay.
And then contribute to the support of accidents. If you witness an accident, respond positively. In Lagos State, we have an emergency number, the national one that is 112, or the state that is 767. Call any of these numbers. Be a part of supporting the saving of a life involved in an injury. And also, there are a lot of things that you can do. For example, we often have to transfuse blood.
Okay.
Blood is not sold anywhere. Blood can only be gotten from men and women like me and you who voluntarily donate it. So be a blood donor. Okay. Sometimes some patients need as much as 5, 6, 7, 8 units of blood that we give them for free. Okay. But if it's free, somebody donated it. Sure. Because it cannot be manufactured and it cannot be bought. So we want to encourage Lagosians to be a part of that. And then we have this group we call Friends of LASEC. They are our partners in saving lives. Okay. You can also inquire about it, be part of what we do, support us with resources, support some victims that have been in accidents that have not been able to find or connect with a relative, support the publicity campaign to reduce speeding, over-speeding, reduce drinking while driving, and things like that that can generally and largely reduce the occurrence of road traffic injuries in our state.
Right. Ms. Ario, Dr. Arugunade has talked about this, especially to the large populace. But for your staff and the community of the area that you are you also extending any hands of fellowship to them this 15 years anniversary? Or any special message to the community that you operate from?
Okay, we just like the MD has said, that the best way is to do something and not just say, the government has got it covered.
Right.
Because a lot of times it's not the government that will be in an accident. It can be you or me.
It can be anybody.
So we just need to make sure that the place is available and ready to serve us in case of an accident. Right. So you can support, just as he has said, by voluntarily donating blood. A lot of people think it's something, but it will test you to know if you're able to donate, fit and able to donate blood before you get to do it. So it's something that people should consider, because 1 pint of blood can save 2 to 3 lives. Right. Actually. Okay. So you can do that, and then you can be a friend of LASEC. You can donate some of the things that we need to run the hospital.
Okay. You can be a volunteer.
Yeah, you can be a volunteer. Okay. And then for those people who lose their memory, sometimes we have destitutes who don't have any relatives that stay with us for several months.
Right.
So you can support
because
us.
they are feeding,
Yes,
they are eating,
they're feeding.
and everything cannot
Yes,
be
and we
on
don't,
government alone.
like we said before, our facility is 100% free.
Right.
So we don't generate funds. So sometimes we have to donate on our own.
Okay.
You know, so we're just calling that on people, you know, humanitarians and
to also support
also
it.
support
Right. So, Doctor, future of emergency services, we do know that as the days go by, there are new challenges, there are new trends. And so what are some of the things that you hope that in future, you know, your facility will also be able to uptake?
Okay, so for us, as we speak, we are the only center like that in probably the whole nation. The Lagos State government is expanding that service across the whole state. Government has plans to open a similar center to ours at every entry route into Lagos State.
Okay.
So as we speak, the facility in Ekpe is due for commissioning, I think, this Friday.
Okay.
So we're going to be having multiple centers like this.
Right.
And as we do, we will reduce the morbidities and the mortalities, the death that come with accidents.
Okay.
Also for our center, because one of the things that is critical in emergency is the skill that the personnel at the emergency room requires to have. So if people die, the people that die in an accident, half of them will die within 6 hours. The person that will die from an injury, half of them will die within 6 hours. Another 30% of them will die within a few days.
Wow.
Now, if we are going to save anybody, we have to do something in 6 hours. And science has been able to identify the causes of death in that first 6 hours. So if we train personnel enough, if we can stop the death that happens within the first 6 hours, we can actually save half of the people that die in road traffic accidents or from other kind of injuries.
Okay.
So one of the things our facility is looking at doing for the future is to create a training center for emergency care.
Okay.
Skills that emergency room personnel need to save lives in the emergency room. We're starting a training series that will equip the healthcare personnel at the emergency rooms.
Okay.
And this has become very, very important and critical, considering the fact that there's a large loss of humans power from the healthcare system.
Right.
People are japping,
Yes, a lot
and
of
what we're
people are
getting left with are young people that are not adequately trained to run the emergency room.
Right. So because this is, like you mentioned earlier, it's about maybe in Nigeria, one of, you know, the pioneer. Have you been, in recent times, have you been awarded or have you been recognized by any international body, any local body for the yeoman's job that the hospital or the center is doing?
Yes, we have by Safe Care.
Okay.
And we won 2 consecutive years.
Okay.
Best Public Health facility.
We're nominated 2 consecutive years.
Okay.
For 2 consecutive years, and then we also won most improved public facility as well in the healthcare.
In healthcare. So, Doctor, how does that make you feel? Does it put more pressure
Oh, yes.
on the facility and what you also need to offer to you know, those who access that's care?
So the first in the series was the most improved.
Okay.
We got the most improved, and then it encouraged us to do more.
True.
And then we saw the result of our efforts. Then the next set was we were nominated one of the top 4 best public facility by Safe Care. And then we saw that, this is really, our efforts are really yielding results. And then we've maintained that. We're hoping to also continue to do that.
Okay.
But it's added pressure to us, but it's also made us realize that the little things that we do actually matter and they have impact on the community.
Right. So are you rolling out the drums for the celebration of the 15 years? Or?
So, yes, on the 13th of May, we will be having a symposium-like short event at our facility, and the whole idea is going to be drumming safety on the roads, safety by Lagosians, and encouraging people to partner with us to continue to save lives from injuries.
Right. Do you escalate when the need arises?
Oh, yes, that's basically our idea. The hospital is run based on, our big principle of operation is based on what they call the Advanced Trauma Life Support System.
Okay.
And that system identifies critical situations that cause people to die from injuries. We take care of all of that, and then the patient can then be passed on to experts or specialists if it is required, or sent home to clinics where they may get further care or considerations.
All right, so 15 years of doing great job there. Are there telephone numbers, emails, or how can people know more if they want to also be part of the call that you've given out today?
Okay, so we have a phone number.
Okay. I would also take that down, so in case we have more people ask us.
But our phone number primarily is mostly for, we give them to our patients who get injured. But if it's an emergency, the phone number to reach out to is 767 or 112.
But then if people also want to be part of, to also
what we are doing, yes, we have a number that they can reach us on, and that number is in a minute. Don't mind. Let me pull out my glasses. I'll just call it out.
All right.
Okay, so the number is 081 57 99 29 30.
Okay, that's the number to call, just in case you'd like to be. You want to add something?
And our email address.
Yes. Go ahead.
Info at LASEC.
So LASEC is
spelled
LASAEC. Okay. At lasec.ng.
Info at lasec.ng.
.ng. Okay. All right. So that's it. If you'd like to be part of, what they do, and also like to contribute your quota to saving lives and humanity, the telephone number to call is 081-57992930. And you can also email info@lasec, and spelled LASAEC.ng. So that's it. You can also reach out to us in the studio. I will provide you more information if you'd like to be part of what they do. And remember, no hoax calls, please. That line is really for what it is meant for. We have so many people saying we want to try it if it is working. Don't do that. Thank you so much, Dr. Adeolu Arobmundade, MD, CEO, LASEC, for finding time to be with us on the program, and happy celebration.
Thank you very much.
And also we have the Chief Hospital Administrator, Mrs. Oluwatomisin Ariyo. Thank you for being part of the program today. We thank you. Let's take a quick break. The conversation returns shortly.